Hey guys, and welcome to day 3 of Blessed Beginners 10-day challenge. It's been so fun getting to know you all and seeing you all flow along with me. So I really appreciate the tags. Keep tagging, keep showing me what you're doing, and I will help as best as I can. Today we are doing a back focused flow. So lower back, middle back, upper back, really just opening up, strengthening, stretching, doing all those important things for our back. It's a very, very sensitive area and often very problematic. So whenever you're ready, we'll hop on our mats and we'll get started. So we're going to start out today in our child's pose. So if you come down, we're going to take knees together to touch, toes together to touch today. Bum back towards your heels. And then let your head rest down, arms rest down. And just starting to arrive into the moment. Arrive onto your mat or onto the ground that you're on. Really just noticing that connection between your palms and the ground, your forehead and the ground. And just feeling the nice release of compression in your back as you bend over your knees. Just starting to focus in on the breath, see if we can breathe a little deeper. Really feeling your belly and your ribs expanding against your thighs. Noticing that gentle rise, expansion of the belly and the chest as you breathe in, and the softening towards the ground as you breathe out. And then when you're ready, we'll slowly start to lift up onto hands and knees, tabletop, taking your knees apart from each other, knees underneath hips, wrists underneath shoulders in our tabletop. And as you breathe in, we're going to drop our belly, lift our chest, tailbone reaches high, and try and pull your shoulders back behind your ears. Coming for those cat and cows like we did on the first day. Pushing and rounding, really trying to push your shoulder blades out your back. As you inhale, drop the belly, lift the chest, shoulders, pull down your back, slight look up. As you exhale, push and round, push the floor away with your palms and round your chin towards your chest. Coming for one more round of cat and cow, lowering as you breathe in. Exhaling as you breathe out, rounding through your back, round and press away. And then as you inhale, we'll come to a neutral spine. From here, I want you to start to walk your hands away from you. We're going to come into something called puppy pose, which if you have a dog, you've probably seen them do this quite a few times before. So just starting to lower your chest down towards the ground. We're trying to keep our hips stacked over our knees. So we're not sitting too far back and we're not too far forwards that we're sliding away from ourselves. You just want your hips stacked over your knees where you feel like you're in control. And then letting your chest sink towards the floor. Taking forehead to the ground. And really just thinking about pressing that chest space down towards the floor. Really trying to soften, open up into the chest. This can be quite intense, especially if you do a lot of desk work and you're used to rounding through your chest. We're just getting into the thoracic spine here, the middle of the spine. Trying to loosen any kind of tension that's been built up there. One more breath. I know you might have a little bit of a shake. And then we're going to look forwards ahead of us. Shift your weight forward so you start to lean forwards into your forearms. And I want you to drop your belly all the way down to the floor. So we're now lying down on our bellies. As you breathe in, we're going to take a little cobra. So we press into our hands, squeeze our bum, slight lift up. Trying not to straighten your arms all the way so that your shoulders are up into your ears. Just being kind to yourself, letting your shoulders drop down, elbows bend back towards you. As you breathe out, lower down slowly. Then we're going to wiggle our elbows out underneath our shoulders, coming into a sphinx pose. So almost imagining like this always reminds me of like an Egyptian sphinx. You know, at the entrance of a tomb where you've got the sphinx there, like so proud. I want you to think about the same thing, really lifting the chest proud. We're going to think about pressing our hands down into the floor beneath us. And then I almost want you to like dig your fingertips down into the ground and pretend like you're pulling the floor back towards you. And as you pull the floor back towards you, you should feel your chest start to open up a little bit more. Make sure you're squeezing your bum the whole time. And then from here, we're going to press into our palms. And as we breathe in, see if we can start to lift our elbows up away from the floor. Squeezing your bum, make sure your back's protected. As you exhale, lower back down. If you found that too much, please feel free to wiggle your elbows slightly away from you and then press from here. So hands press into the floor, and as you inhale, lift up and squeeze, and you'll find it less of a back bend. As you exhale, lower down. Wherever you are with your elbows, we press into our hands. Inhale, lift and squeeze. Make sure you squeeze your bum the whole time because it's going to protect your lower back for you. And as you exhale, lower down. Last one. Inhale, lift and squeeze. Squeeze your bum, lift the chest. Exhale, lower down. Taking elbows out to the sides, palms in a pillow, and you just want to wiggle your hips from side to side to release any tension in the lower back. From here, we're going to take our hands by our sides. Turn your head so your nose faces towards the floor. If your floor's clean, you can place your head down. And then as you breathe in, I want you to squeeze and lift the chest, lift the palms. Now, the temptation here is for us to look like this because we feel like we're getting so much higher if we look up. I want you to keep your chin slightly tucked towards your chest so that your neck is long and in line with your spine, so you've not got any compression in the back of the neck. Squeeze and lift, squeeze your bum, and as you exhale, lower down. Inhale, we lift up, make sure you're looking down, not up. And as you exhale, lower down. Two more. Inhale, lift and squeeze your bum, really try and get some height in the chest. And as you exhale, lower down. Last one, lift and squeeze. Make sure your toes aren't coming up away from the floor. Press your big toes down into the mat. Lift up. And as you exhale, lower down. Give your hips a wiggle from side to side. Now, the next thing we're going to do is lift our legs. So I want your head to stay down. You can either look forwards like this or just take your forehead to your palms. And as you breathe in, I want you to squeeze your bum and lift your legs up away from the floor. As you exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift and squeeze. Pubic bone pressing down into the floor. And as you exhale, lower down. Three more. Inhale, lift up, squeeze your bum. Exhale, lower down. Amazing. Two more, building strength in that lower back, upper glute. Exhale to lower. Last breath. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down. And we give our hips a wiggle from side to side. And then we're going to add both of those together. So we're going to do three like this. As you inhale, again, make sure you're looking down, nose parallel to the floor. Inhale, chest lifts, legs lift. Hold and squeeze. And as you exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift the chest, lift the legs, hold and squeeze. And as you exhale, lower down. Last one. Inhale, lift the chest, lift the legs. Squeeze your shoulder blades on your back. And as you exhale, lower down. Well done. We're going to wiggle our hips side to side, tuck our toes under and press all the way back to your downward facing dog. So toes are tucked, knees are slightly bent if you'd like, really pressing your chest back towards your thighs. And just taking a second here, breathing in, breathing out. You can take your pedals through your legs if you'd like. Just finding a little bit of freedom here now that you know your down dog well. Maybe you want to wiggle your hips from side to side. And then when you're ready, knees are bent, we're going to look back and we're going to walk our hands back towards our feet. Keep a nice soft bend in the knees, relax your head. Then grabbing opposite elbows, we're going to start to gently rock from side to side. Soft bend through the knees. This is our ragdoll, so it really looks like a ragdoll just swinging from side to side. And then gently releasing at center, release your elbows. We'll slowly roll all the way up to standing. As you breathe in, lift your hands up overhead. And as you breathe out, take palms to heart center. Take a minute to reset. Making sure your ankles and feet are underneath your hips, hip distance. We'll inhale, sweep up. And as you exhale, I want you to cactus your arms. So our cactus shape looks like this with our arms. And we squeeze our shoulder blades together behind our back. I like to imagine it like you're squeezing a pencil in between your shoulder blades and you're trying to keep it there. So we inhale, reach up. And as you exhale, cactus your arms, squeeze your shoulder blades together. Make sure you're squeezing your bum, quads, so legs are engaged. And then I want you to start to lean back from the chest. So think about your chest pulling up and back, almost like you're trying to do a high jump, lift and back. Inhale, reach up, straight back. As you exhale, cactus the arms, open the chest, lift the chest and lean back. We're not dumping into the lower back like this. We're lifting, growing, and bending from the top of our spine. Inhale, reach up. And as you exhale, one more cactus and open the chest, leaning back. And as you breathe in, reach up, exhale, interlace your fingers behind your back. We did this in day 2, but this time we're going to do it with our feet a bit closer. I want you to squeeze your shoulder blades together, bend your knees and start to lower your chest down towards your thighs and let your arms come away from your back. Relax your head, relax your neck. One more breath in. As you exhale, really letting the weight of your arms take your fist closer to the ground. And then gently release. Crawl your hands all the way forwards to the top of the mat. We're coming into our high plank. As you exhale, knees lower, we shift our weight forward slightly. And remember that tricep push-up movement. So elbows bend back towards you and you lower your chest down towards the floor. As you breathe in, lift up into Cobra. Exhale, lower, tuck your toes under, and we're going to press back to our downward facing dog. So remember, we can always bend our knees in our down dog and really press our chest back because we want our back and our thighs to be creating a V shape rather than a U shape like this. So take as much bend in your knees as you need to really send the chest up and back. And then we're going to look forwards to our hands. Take a big step forwards with the right toes. Big step. As you exhale, drop the back knee down and untuck the back toes. We inhale to sweep up. And as you exhale, that cactus movement's coming back. So we're going to cactus, bend our elbows down, squeeze our shoulder blades together, and lift our chest slightly towards the sky. As you breathe in, reach up. Flatten your back. As you exhale, Little back bend, chest lift, squeeze your shoulder blades together. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, cactus, open up the chest. Slight look up. And then we'll inhale, reach your hands up overhead. And as we breathe out, hands come down, frame your front foot. We're going to tuck our back toes under, lift our back knee up. And from here, we're going to come into our high lunge. So I want you to squeeze your bum, look forwards. And as you breathe in, sweep your hands up overhead. Don't worry if you found this a bit wobbly. It takes time to get used to that movement. So just being kind to yourself here. Breathing in, we're going to do one back bend. So I want you to reach up. And as you breathe out, make sure your bum is squeezed, turned on to protect the lower back. We're going to lift from the chest and reach back. Imagine like you're drawing a line on your ceiling. So drawing that line, reach back. And then coming up back to center as you exhale, warrior two. So our warrior two is where our back foot faces the long edge of the mat, front foot faces the short edge. We're trying to open up our hips. Hands are in our T shape. As you breathe in, I want you to straighten your front leg. We're coming into something called triangle. So you're going to reach your hands forwards. Right hand's going to come down inside your shin, calf, and our left hand, top hand stacks on top in a T shape. From here, I want you to think about sending your hips forwards, and you should feel a nice stretch through the inside of the right leg. And sometimes it can even take it into our lower back. It's a really good way to extend and open up through the side of the body. Lower back. We inhale, one more breath. And exhale. As you breathe in, back up to a T shape. And then we're going to reverse our triangle. So left hand comes onto your thigh. Right hand reaches up and back, trying to stretch through the right side of the body now. One more breath in. As you breathe out, arms to your T shape, bend your front knee, and we're going to cartwheel our hands down, frame our front foot, and take a big step back with our right toes, knees lower. We inhale, little shift forwards. Exhale, lower down onto our belly and chest. As you breathe in, low cobra. And as you breathe out, retuck the toes. Press your chest back towards your thighs. Really finding that stillness in your down dog now, pressing the chest back. And then we're going to lower our knees down towards the floor, knees together to touch, toes untucked and together, and we'll press back into our child's pose. Just releasing any kind of tension and reversing the bend in our back. So we're going from a U shape to like an N shape, if that makes sense. Taking a second here, re-engage with your breath. And then when you're ready, we'll slowly lift up. We're going to all meet together in our downward facing dog. So toes tuck under, press your hips up and back. Now from here, we're coming to the other side. So I want you to look forwards and take a big step forwards with the left toes in between the hands. Don't worry if it didn't get there, you can always shuffle it. Right knee drops down, untuck your toes. As you inhale, reach up, sweep up, make sure you're squeezing your bum. And then we'll inhale, reach. And as you exhale, cactus your arms, open up your chest, slight lean back. Inhale to reach. Exhale, cactus and open. And remember, imagining like we're lifting and lowering from the top of our body rather than our lower back. One more breath. Inhale, reach up. As you exhale, cactus and open the chest. And then we'll reach. Exhale, hands come down, frame your front foot. Back toes tuck under, and we're going to lift our back knee up. So we're almost in like a runner's lunge. We're getting ready to race. From here, make sure your bum is engaged so you're squeezing, and then inhale, sweeping up, high lunge, crescent lunge. Inhale, we reach tall, and as you exhale, imagining like you're drawing lines on your ceiling, lift from the chest, not the lower back. Lift, 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 and reach back. One more breath, really opening up your heart space. And then we come up to center. Exhale, warrior two. Taking a second to just check your alignment in your warrior two. Front heels in line with the back arch of our foot. Arms are in our T-shape, check, they're in line. And then we inhale, straighten the front leg. Reach your hands forwards. Left hand comes down inside your calf and shin, and you reach the right hand up to the sky. You don't want your bum sticking out here. You want to squeeze it forwards towards the way you're facing. Really try and tuck your hips under so you feel that opening through the right side of the body. We go for one more breath. And then as you inhale, hands back to a T shape. We'll flip our front palm, back hand rests on our thigh, reverse your triangle. Get really long, extend through the left side of the body. Breathe in. As you breathe out, hands to your T, front knee bends back to warrior two. We're going to cartwheel our hands down, frame our front foot, step the left toes back, and straight away from here, we're going to drop our knees and send our hips back towards our heels for our child's pose. Give it a little wiggle. We're not going to be here for long. So just rocking gently from side to side. And then as you breathe in, we're going to come up onto hands and knees. Walk your hands back towards you and come up to standing onto your knees. From here, we're going to take our hands to our hips. And I want you to really find that space in your back where you've got that soft spots. So you've got your coccyx, which are just above your bum, which are hard. And then you've got a soft squishy part just above or to the side. I found my squishies. And then wrap your fingers around. Really dig your thumbs into that space so you can feel it. I want you to squeeze your elbows back together behind you. And then from here, we're going to lift our chest up high, tuck our toes under, and start to lift and lean back. Squeeze your bum, squeeze your hips forwards. This is our camel pose. Either keeping your chin tucked towards your chest if you feel more comfortable, or you can let your head go, really lean back into it. Elbows squeeze together, make sure your bum stays on the whole time. And then as you breathe in, coming back up, it can really start to make your heart race or give you certain feels. So just untuck the toes, knees down, take your hands onto your heart space and just take a second. It's a really big heart opener, so it can feel really uncomfortable for a lot of us. Can even make you cry. I've cried many a times in Camel. Okay, let's go for one more. We're going to lift up, toes tuck under, hands on our hips. Find that squishy part on your back. Press your thumbs into it. Lift the chest so your spine gets really long. You're going to squeeze your hips forward, squeeze your bum. Start to lift the chest and lean back. Holding, breathing tiny breaths. And then as you inhale, slowly lift back up, lead with the chin, chin to chest, sit back towards your heels. Take a second, one hand on top of the other on your heart space. And just breathing, finding that rhythm of the breath again. Feeling your heart race in your hands, if it is. And then when you're ready, we're going to sit down onto our bums, feet out in front of you. And we're going to take our legs out long, give them a good shake. As you inhale, I want you to think about sitting up really tall. You might even have to pull the fleshy parts out behind you so you can rotate your hips slightly forwards. Trust me, I understand you if you're feeling a bit like this right now. That was me not so long ago. So sitting up as tall as you can, active, rotate forwards of the pelvis. And then as you breathe in, sweep up. As you breathe out, we're going to take a restorative fold forwards. So I want you here, if this feels super uncomfortable for you, you're going to bend your knees and relax your head towards your thighs or your knees. Take a second here. And then slowly lifting back up. So it's in poses like these where we start to realize how connected the body is, because as you lean forwards, you can sometimes feel not just the stretch in your legs, but also through your lower back, which just shows us that if our legs are really tight, we often can have low back problems. So just noticing how connected the body is when you're moving through these postures, and realize how important it is that we stay strong and mobile and flexible through our joints, through our muscles, and our entire body. My rant's over now. We'll take our feet to the floor, wiggle your bum closer towards your heels, hands underneath the knees. We're going to lift our chest as we breathe in, and as we breathe out, start to lean back and lift our toes, making sure your belly is turned on, it's firing, your core's firing, holding here for one big breath in, one big breath out, and then dropping your toes down. We're going to roll all the way down onto our backs and take a big reach up over your head. Big reach. And then taking your knees into your chest, give them a good squeeze in. Tiny little rocks from side to side. Just massaging the lower back area. And then our last pose for today is going to be our bridge pose. So we'll take our feet to the floor, hands by your sides, almost walking your heels back so you can tickle the backs of your heels, or at least attempt to. Just look up and check that your thighs are hip distance apart. And then as you breathe in, slight tuck under of the tailbone, squeezing and lifting your hips up high. Breathing in, breathing out. Really think about wrapping your thighs in towards each other like you're squeezing a ball or squeezing a brick between your thighs. If you have a block at home, you can always place it between your thighs, which really helps to engage the inner thighs. We'll take one more breath in, one more breath out, squeeze and lift. And then as you exhale, slowly, slowly lower, roll down onto your back, knees into chest, final squeeze in. And then we're going to take our legs out long to the floor. Hands by your sides, give your legs a little wiggle. Any horrible feelings in the lower back, always options to take your feet to the floor, knees to the sky. And just taking a couple of minutes to find your stillness, find that presence and peace again. Trying to release the control over the body, over the mind, over the breath. Just noticing the ground beneath you, holding you up, keeping you stable, supporting you always. And then gently starting to breathe back into the belly, back into the chest. We'll wiggle our fingers, wiggle our toes, take our knees in towards our chest wherever they are. And then gently taking hands underneath the kneecaps, rocking and rolling forwards and backwards until you come up to a cross leg or a comfortable seated position, whatever that may be. And we're just going to take our hands onto our knees. As you breathe in, sweep your hands up overhead. As you breathe out, hands to heart center, press your thumbs into your heart space. Take a moment to thank your body for moving in all these new ways that maybe you never thought it could. Take a moment to thank yourself for committing to this journey, for starting it, and committing to learning new things. We'll gently bow into our heads, bow into our chest. The light in me honors the light in all of you that are practicing with me today. Namaste. Thank you so much, guys, for doing day 3 with me of this Blessed Beginners Challenge. It's been so fun connecting with you all on social media and getting to know you a bit better. So hopefully I will see more of you in the next coming days. Remember to hashtag Blessed Beginners or tag me at Blessed Yoga on Instagram if you're flowing along with this challenge. And hopefully I'll see you back here for day 4 very soon.